What's up, dudes and dudettes? Ryan here. Brandon is not able to join us tonight, so it's what we signed up for. We're dads first, and so he's doing his thing. He's doing his dad thing, and I commend him for that. I've had to cancel several recording sessions myself, and right now we're just gonna try and do a one-off to get some content out there. For me, this time of year, my most favorite time of the year. I love summertime, but man, fall gets me. Fall is where my heart's at. I live in a state where we actually have 4 seasons. We have 4 seasons in one day sometimes. I shit you not, that's accurate. Michigan. But man, there's something about fall where the colors are changing. College football's back on, which is what we're going to talk about here in a second. Halloween, and then we start. I just love a good, crisp, cool weather, hoodie weather. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. You're just comfortable. Have a good drink in your hand. All year. Being older, man, you got to have excuses to get together with some buddies, right? We work hard all year. We're family guys. We're women. And I just feel like football, there's always an excuse to get together with friends. We work hard all winter. We work hard all summer, all spring. And sometimes I just feel like this is an opportunity to slow down, catch up with people, and watch some football. It could be good football. It could be bad football. But just getting back together with everyone and, having time to socialize, I guess, outside of the frickin' social media and all that fun stuff. But man, did we have a crazy week. Technically 2 weeks of college football. Absolutely insane. One team I'm going to touch on real quick is, Florida State. What an absolute freaking debacle this has turned into. They got left out of the college football playoff last year, and they were robbed. Big time. Completely undefeated. The only reason I would say the only reason they didn't get invited, because you know what? It wasn't never a playoff. Never a playoff. It was an invitational. Always was. Couple times teams got in that didn't deserve to be there. Alabama had gotten in ahead of Florida State, which was a brutal choice, but you could make a case for it. But it was a shitty case. That proved it was never a playoff. It's an invitational. So we started looking at. Ohio State backing into the playoff a couple of years ago. They should never have gotten in after a loss to Michigan and then sitting out and not playing a conference championship. I thought that was an absolute shitty way to back into a college playoff, quote unquote. So Florida State, this was like their revenge. They're going to get revenge now. This is it. Like, they're going to prove to the world why they were completely justifiable they should have been in the playoff, especially with their starting quarterback hurt. So what do? They fly out to Ireland, which I hate these games in other countries. I can't stand them playing in Ireland. The NFL's doing it. They're playing it all over the place. I get you want to broaden the market, but these games to start off the season, shit. It's just absolute garbage. I don't think it's a cool experience for the players, but man, I remember my honeymoon. I flew out to Ireland, and my clock was fucked 9 ways to Sunday, so I couldn't imagine going there and having to play a football game. But either way, they come out, and they play a Georgia Tech team that came out swinging. Georgia Tech played very well. Florida State did not play well. And Georgia Tech just pulled them into a phone booth and said, "We're fighting in here." And Florida State could not match it. they tried. They really tried, but unfortunately, Georgia Tech is one of those teams that I don't want to play at Georgia Tech at all. Like they're just one of those. They're not a great team, but they'll spoil something for you, and that's exactly what they did. So Florida State flies back home, and what do? They're sitting here, okay, possible jet lag. You can make any excuse under the world. Jet lag, we were tired. Anything outside of we didn't play very good. And so what happens? They play Boston College on a Monday night, so they even had a longer time to prep for this, relax, no excuses. They're all out the window. And they get pummeled by Boston College. The preseason number 10 team just gets pummeled. And, man, Florida State, it is not looking good. They got to right that ship immediately. It's possible to do. What was it, Michigan back in when they had that god-awful opener, I'm not even going to say it, in 2007. Then the following week they lost to Oregon, I believe. And they started the season 0-2 after going 11-1, I believe it was. And they righted the ship and had a decent year and ended up closing it with a very strong bowl win against Florida. But Florida State's got to do that. And I don't see anything right now that's going to show them, that it's going to make it possible for that to happen. So let's go down some of the great games in week 1. Michigan and Fresno State. I'm going to make a video on Michigan and Fresno. That one's a tough one to decipher on what happened there. Fresno State's no pushover, but Michigan really lacked on some offense, and we're going to talk about that in the other video. A lot of potential, but it needs to get fixed quickly. Georgia, I'll be honest, for college football, I really think it's Georgia and Ohio State's world. I don't know about Ohio State, but Georgia and Texas, I just think it's their world and we're living in it right now. So Georgia just pummeled Clemson 34-3. Clemson, I think, was way overranked. I don't see them at 14. I don't see anything they've done in the past 3 years that would warrant them, outside of just being Clemson and Dabo Swinney, to put them at 14. So I don't know. I don't know what Clemson's going to do, but Georgia definitely looks to be number one favorite for quite some time. Penn State and West Virginia. I thought West Virginia was going to put up more of a fight. They didn't really last year either, but Penn State rolled them 34-12. Iowa, Cade McNamara woke up in the second half. I think it was like 3-0 through most of the game. Death taxes and Iowa punting the football. That's just what it's been for the past, I don't know how many times or how many years. But Cade McNamara really woke up, and he did a good job. Regardless, it was Illinois State, but we'll see what happens moving forward. So Illinois State, give it or take it. But Iowa did what they were supposed to do, 40-0. Good. Tennessee and Chattanooga. Tennessee, you don't know which way they're gonna go. I really don't have much to say on Tennessee. 69-3, they did what they were supposed to. Just wiped the floor with Chattanooga. This is a team that I think we're gonna have to go 3 or 4 weeks into the season to see what really is going on. Oklahoma State, man, are they always, top 20, top 17? They've yet to maintain to try to break it to the top 10. This one's going to be an outlier, I think, in the college football playoff, trying to get into that number 12 spot. 44-20 over South Dakota State. Nothing to write home about here. Ohio State against Akron. This one had me scratching my head for a little bit. Well into the third quarter, it was kind of like, what's going on here? But you got to think about it. Howard, new quarterback. They're trying to get things to gel up. Ohio State was never going to lose this game. Never. In a million years. You play this game 1,000 times, Akron wins 0. That's the reality of the situation. But it was 17. About 8 minutes into the third quarter. That was when it really started opening up, 24-3, and then right after that, 31-3, and then 31-6, and Ohio State just went and ran away with it. Will Howard, kind of, I wasn't sold on him in the first half. Second half, he finally opened up a little bit, finished decently strong. But then again, it's Akron, so we got to figure out what's going on there. Ohio State, I think, is ranked where they really need to be. Number 2 seems fair. So we'll see what happens. And then moving forward with Texas, 52-0 over Colorado State. Colorado State's a sorry program. But I'll tell you what, as a Michigan fan, I really wish I had a game like this or a team like this to kind of buffer up some of the mistakes that were being made against Fresno State to prepare for Texas. Because, man, Texas is coming, and Michigan needs to correct a lot of stuff on the offense to have a shot. Their defense is elite. They're going to give Texas all sorts of problems. But I know Texas is going to be ready for that. I know Texas has been preparing for this since the end of their season last year. They're not preparing for Colorado State. They're preparing for Michigan, and it's going to be an SEC Big Ten slugfest. I really think next week Texas is either going to win big or Michigan is going to win in a close one. So we'll see what happens in there. Man, Miami made a statement against Florida, punch them in the mouth. I don't know what Napier's doing in Florida. Whatever is happening right now, it's not working. But Miami is just punching, just haymaking Florida over and over and over again. Florida had a couple runs, a long run for, I believe it was like an 83-yard touchdown against Miami that gave them a little bit of breath of life back. Okay, they're going to make it a game. Nope. Miami just took over and demolished them. It was so bad. Miami, after the game, walked over to Florida's recruits that were there and were saying, "Don't come here. We run Florida. You come over here. So bad. That's a bad look for Florida. Really bad look. They got to get it together. They have the number 1 strength of schedule, and it's not going to get easier. It's not. There's got to get it figured out right now. I never thought I'd really see Florida in this situation, but, here we are, and you're Florida. Pick yourselves up and get going. Alabama didn't really learn anything except for they're having a lot more fun without Nick Saban, sideline nonsense, just playing around and, just having fun. But Alabama's Alabama. They played Western Kentucky. There's nothing to tell yet. There's, no talent went anywhere. So, like I said, Alabama's Alabama. They're going to do what they do. Let's see what they do. I want to see what they do mid-season and where we stand there. Ole Miss, number 6, 76-0 against Furman. I don't even know where the fuck Furman is. So, nothing really to report home there about. We'll see what happens. Ole Miss, they always tend to be ranked high. And then, they make some get your popcorn ready against Alabama and completely lay an egg. So, we'll see what happens with Ole Miss. Kansas State against UT Martin, 41-6. I ain't even going to talk about that game. UT Martin, give me a fucking break. These games need to stop. Stop with this. Kansas State is going to be another one that's floating around the number 12, 12, 11 area possibly by the end of the season. And when they look at the strength of schedule and see that they played UT Martin on the opener, could it cost them? Probably not. Maybe. But we got to start looking at this stuff. This stuff is terrible. Another one, big one, Oregon versus Idaho. A lot of people are giving Michigan a lot of grief for, winning by 20 against Fresno State. And Fresno State's not a bad team by any means. They're probably going to be an 8 or 9 win team. So, Michigan did struggle with all the turnover that they had over the year, or the offseason. And for some reason, Oregon is just getting a break, winning by 10 against Idaho. I don't know. I don't know if they were just knocking some rust off or what's going on there, but very surprised on Oregon. But they're not going to stay that way. But I just did expect more of them from the first game of the season. I think we all did, but I don't think they should be getting the break that they're getting. But we'll just have to see. Notre Dame at Texas A&M. Man, this game was boring for a while. I think it was like 6-6 going into the fourth. Notre Dame found some ways to start opening it up, and ended up beating Texas A&M by 13. Notre Dame is going to be a really interesting. It's going to be an interesting year moving forward with them. Think about it. Even if they go undefeated, which I highly doubt, I highly doubt we're going to see any undefeated teams outside of maybe Georgia. But even if they go undefeated, they cannot get a top 4 seed. Or excuse me, they can get a top 4 ranking in the college football playoff, but they cannot get that first round bye because the first round bye goes to the conference champions. So that's pretty odd. I think that's really going to force Notre Dame's hand into joining a conference within the next few years, just because they'll never get that benefit of becoming first. So they're going to have to win all their games to be considered in. I don't know if they can do. I wonder if number 5 is the highest they'll ever be able to go, just because they'd have to be kicked down after the conference champions. But we'll have to see. Arizona. Nothing much to write home there. Had a good offensive duel with New Mexico, 61-39. Well, that's yet to be seen on what's going on there. But yeah, then we had the Florida State games. NC State, nothing to write home there. 38-21 against West Carolina. Missouri put on a shellacking of Murray State. Nothing to see there. That was to be expected. Kansas, 48-3 against Lindenwood. What are these schools, man? SEC's got to get their shit together. Utah against Southern Utah, 49-0, nothing to write home there. And maybe, just maybe, the SEC is the reason why they're playing fucking Furman. It's just SEC out of conference is it's always been a joke. But USC and LSU, what a classic this game was. Absolute blast to watch. I think it's probably the best game of the of week 1 to watch. I can't believe, I don't know what this guy is doing, but Aaron Anderson puts his team ahead 17-13. I believe it was this individual, and does a street sweeper. What a terrible look. What an awful look for your program to do something like that. I mean, it's equivalent. Actually, I love this celebration. When Miami used to do the throat gash, and that's now illegal. And then he does something like that. That was such a terrible look. Awful celebration. But it cost him. And Brian Kelly does what Brian Kelly does. He's ahead, and he can't close out the game. He cannot close out big games, and I can't figure it out why he does that. It's coaching. It's got to be the culture. You got to stay, I don't know if humble. You got to stay on the mission. Stay on the mission. You have your foot on their throat. Why are you lifting it? Don't let them get up. And that's what he does constantly. Michigan did it to him a few times. And USC, that's exactly what they did. They're like, all right, we're just going to have to keep going. And their receivers made absolute banana catches. Absolutely insane, especially the one that was targeting towards the end of the game. But, man, Moss was out of control. Threw for 378 yards. I'm not looking forward to week 4 if I'm a Michigan fan. Yeah, this is big. But Nussmeier even had a great game too, but for whatever reason LSU cannot close it out, and this is the 3rd year in a row where LSU had lost its opener, so it's a rough look, really rough look for Brian Kelly. He's self-aware of it, but now he's got to do something about it, figure something out. So Looking ahead to this Saturday, I get to head to Brandon's house to watch Michigan and Texas. We're thinking about doing a live episode, but we'll see if we have time. Time, man. Time is something you have less of when you get older, and it just moves faster. So we'll see. Prediction, like I said, Texas wins big, or Michigan narrows it out. I don't see Michigan blowing Texas out at all. If anything, it'll be a very close game, or in a Michigan win, or Texas blows them out. Penn State is going to roll Bowling Green. Oklahoma State and Arkansas, that might be a pretty good game. That's going to be one to keep an eye out. I wouldn't be surprised if Oklahoma State loses that one, but we'll see. Kansas State and Tulane, they're spoilers. That's a possible one. Georgia Tech and Syracuse. We need to talk about Syracuse. This one is going to be interesting. Kyle McCord lit it up for 354 yards last week. That is bananas. He played very well. Georgia Tech is favored in this one. I don't see that happening, but we'll see. Georgia Tech's 2-0. They're riding strong. They're only favored by 3, so we'll see. It's going to be Kyle McCord's performance. That's going to be the difference. Georgia versus Tennessee Tech. That's an upset alert. Georgia's going to maul them in triple digits. Notre Dame and Northern Illinois. Notre Dame will take care of business there. Utah and Baylor. I think Utah will take care of Baylor. Iowa and Iowa State. Iowa State is the thorn in Iowa's side. I wouldn't be surprised if Iowa drops that one, but, we'll have to see. But I wouldn't look past Iowa State. Louisville and Jack State, whatever. Ole Miss and Middle Tennessee, whatever. Miami and Florida A&M, whatever. Alabama and South Florida, whatever. Everyone who's favored there will win. Absolutely. Missouri against Buffalo, whatever. Missouri's going to roll that one. Kansas against Illinois, that'll be a good game, but I think Kansas comes on top pretty big. That's going to be Illinois. It's going to be up to Illinois there. Kansas is going to bring it. Illinois is going to have to bring it. So that's up to Illinois. Ohio State versus Western Michigan. Western Michigan has a lot of people returning, and it's not the same as back in the day anymore. Western Michigan took Wisconsin, and Wisconsin struggled for a little bit there. Am I saying Ohio State's going to be threatened? No. I'm pretty sure Ohio State's going to win this one pretty big, but just saying, Western Michigan's not the Western Michigan of old. I see Ohio State winning by probably about 30 there. NC State versus Tennessee. I think Tennessee will take care of NC State. I don't see any big threat. This is probably the biggest alert here. LSU versus Nichols. If anyone could tell me where Nichols is without Googling it, I'll shave my head for you. Oklahoma and Houston. I think Oklahoma will take care of business there. Clemson against App State. As a Michigan fan, I'm steering clear of that one. Oregon and Boise State. Oregon better bring it. They better clean everything up big time in order to get going. Oregon dropped 4 spots. Pretty big. So they're going to have to bring a better performance to Boise State. I really think they will. I think they'll win big there. Arizona versus Northern Arizona. Arizona will take that one. USC versus Utah State. USC brings that performance. They'll have absolutely nothing to worry about. So, game of the week, Michigan to Texas. That's going to be the big one. Michigan has a lot to prove here, but I'm going to go more in depth on that on the other episode. But that's my quick little college football overview, man. I hope everyone enjoys their time. Sit back, relax, eat some good food, converse with people, shrink your worlds, have fun. And if it's shitty football on, just enjoy the company with each other. We don't get a lot of this throughout the year. At most, that's it. It used to be, I think it used to be just 12 games if you're in a bowl. But now we're blessed with longer seasons due to the college football playoff, and now bowls. At least those games mean more now. bowl season has a little bit more of a effect now, bringing sort of its history back. So enjoy it with everyone, guys. Have fun. I'm gonna have to drop a Go Blue. So we'll see what happens there. Have fun with everyone. Take care of yourselves. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and we'll get a full-length episode going here soon, and we'll just get that going. So till next time, my friends, as Brandon says, see you later.